I used so much ketchup once at a restaurant that a stranger walked up and goes, "That's a lot of ketchup." Do you know how much ketchup you gotta use? That guy doesn't want to get involved, you know? But he sees it. His wife's like, "Let it go." He's like, "I think I gotta say something. I don't think he knows that no one's using that much ketchup. I was in San Francisco, and I bet there's a bunch of fun coffee places, and I live in my dumb world that I just want this one little drink. So I go into a Starbucks, and I get to the front, and I was like, "I'll take an iced coffee with cream." She goes, "With cream?" I go, "With cream." And then she goes, "Iced coffee with cream?" I go, "Iced coffee with cream." She goes, "With cream?" I go, "With cream." And she said it one more time. She said, "So iced coffee with cream?" And at that point, I should have said, "What's going on right now?" Where are you at in your head? Because I feel like we're in two different places. But I was nervous, and there was people behind me, and I was like, "Cream or no cream? Honestly, I'll give you $20 if you let me leave right now. I cannot, this is the most I can talk about this. I don't even know what's happening anymore." So I paid. I go stand in line, you know, where you gotta wait for your drink. There's like 5 of us waiting for our drinks. So she puts the iced coffee up there first, no cream. And I was like, whatever. I'll just do it myself, you know? Like, I don't like doing it myself, but I was like, all right, I'll just do it. So before I could get it, she's walked back with a can of whipped cream, and she's shaking it. And I'm just looking at it, like, thinking that's someone else's. I'm like, someone's getting whipped cream. That's fun. One of you guys are getting whipped cream? And I look down, and she starts spraying the whipped cream on top of my iced coffee. She just yells out, "Iced coffee, whipped cream," yells it out. The other 4 turn their back, like they don't want you to accidentally think that's what they ordered. And I'm just left alone, like, "That's what you thought I said over there? You don't think I would have said iced coffee with whipped cream? You think I'm just some nut job?" It's like, I've had too many problems in this Starbucks, so I'm going to use the words that I want and no other words. Iced coffee, whipped cream cup. And they didn't have a top for it, so whipped cream, it doesn't sink and become less embarrassing. It moves. It's like a buoy in an ocean that everybody sees. I'm just walking through the crowd like, this is my favorite drink. I don't know if you guys drink this at all. Is anybody? Nobody does this? I'm surprised. And I walked outside and threw it away and tried again at a different Starbucks. All right, thank you guys. I can't thank you enough. You are unbelievable. I went to a McDonald's drive-thru and my window did not roll down. That's the universe saying, give it a rest. And I fought through it. It's embarrassing because they can tell, because I had to pull, because I got to open my door. So it's going to hit the speaker, so I got to drive by it. So the car behind me is like, "Are you leaving?" I'm like, "My window don't roll down." And I got to open the door. Now the speaker's by the gas tank. So I got to yell my order out. Now that guy hears it. And then I look at McDonald's screen. Well, they got it all on the board. Just let the neighborhood know what I'm ordering. And then I drove by the window, the drive-thru window, and I got to go by it because I got to open my whole door. So I go by it, and I see them. They're like, "Where are you going?" I was like, "Nowhere." And I go by, and they see my whole body sitting in a chair. It's crazy. If you've never done it, it's the most vulnerable I've ever felt in my life. You're just sitting there and you're high. They see your feet. They see your feet. They just throw it at me like a bear. Just throw it. We take our trash out one of the days. I don't know the day, but it's a day. We do it. There is one day. I know we forgot to take it out a couple weeks ago. That stress could break up a family. All week was like, everybody eat out of your hands. We had friends over, like, put your trash in your pockets, take it to your homes. So my parents, I think, watched a Rescue 911 where a kid went missing. So it got them scared. They were like, I think they took it as like, look, you guys are getting kidnapped. There's nothing we can do. It's happening. So they wanted us to be prepared for it. So instead of like, I don't know, self-defense, give us a gun, I don't know, something. What they did was like, you know, you always hand out flyers if a kid goes missing. They were like, let's just get that flyer ready. We'll just do that, you know? So kid goes missing, they always have a flyer. They put a picture of the kid and all the information below the flyer. So the height, weight, eye color, all that stuff. So instead of making a flyer, what they made us do was we wrote on a piece of paper our name, height, weight, eye color, and then we just held it up against a wall, and they just took a picture of us. So the picture is us holding our own information. And they said, well, when the cops are like, hey, let's get a flyer ready, we're going to be like, well, we've been rooting for this to happen. We already have one made. And they're like, we'll give that to the police. Which, if we would have been kidnapped, my parents would be in prison right now. No one's going to believe you pre-took pictures. I mean, they're going to just look at this and be like, all right, just tell us where the kids are at. That would be the easiest thing to do. I've never seen this ever. They had to go get that printed at Walmart, too. You couldn't do that at home. You had to go show people that easy. We walked in Walmart, and the guy was probably like, hey, do you think I could talk to your kids by themselves for a little bit? I'd love to just chat with them. 50-50 if my zipper's up or down anymore. It's a true flip of the coin. I don't know what's happening. I've zipped up my whole life. And now, just head, I'm like, all right, I'll see you boys later. Just head out. Take my pants off and they come off easy. I'm like, oh, that was 4 hours I was walking around like. My dad is a magician. He's done that my entire life. He was a clown at the very beginning, just in case you're like, how do you get into something like that? He goes clowned in magic. There's 2 steps. You can take them in either order. I was born, he was a clown. It was never weird to me. I thought everybody's dad was a clown. My first memory of my life is I was 5 years old, and I remember my mom walked me out to the front yard, and my dad pulled up with this old red Mazda. He's dressed as a clown. That doesn't even faze me. That's just how he left. How else would he come home? And the Easter Bunny was in the passenger seat. That's the first thing that I remember to my life. If you want to know how you get into comedy, that's a pretty good nudge. And I remember it didn't fit, the Easter Bunny head didn't fit in the car, like he couldn't sit normal, so his head was bent to the side. And I remember he had his seatbelt on, and he's just like, and I was like, I like to think about all the other people that saw that, just in the car next to him, just at a red light. You're like, I didn't even know they hung out like that. So me and my dad, he just does magic now, and he's very good at what he does. He's very funny, and we do shows together. So one time magicians have conventions where they get together and they're buy and sell tricks, and they give a lecture, and they do this big show. So this guy was putting one together in Des Moines, Iowa, which is the birthplace of magic, something a lot of people don't know. And it's not, but it does sound like it could be. I don't know why. I said that in Des Moines, and people are like, I think I already knew that. They're like, no, he's right. So this guy calls me. He's like, your dad's performing this year, so we want you to come down, and we're going to make you appear out of a magic trick. I'm going to come out. I'm going to surprise my dad, surprise the audience. Everybody will go crazy, and then I'll do 5 minutes of stand-up, and that will end the show. He's like, it's going to be like a big deal. I was like, all right. I agreed to it. I fly to Des Moines. I'm hiding. I'm in my room. No one knows I'm there. The show starts. My dad's out performing. I climb in a box backstage. When my dad gets done performing, they ask him to stay and help. They push the box out. The trick is, the guy is a very pretty lady assistant. She walks around, shows the box is empty, and then she climbs in. Normally it just falls apart, and then but now it falls apart, and it's me, and I pop out. And you have to come out big. I don't know if you've ever appeared of a magic trick, but if you do, yeah, you can't just be like, how you doing? You know, like, it's gotta be a grand, like, can you believe it? And I look at my dad, his face is so surprised, he had no idea. But his eyes are just like, why would you ever do this? And I was like, this is not a good time to visit you. The audience is clapping, but they're not going that crazy. Like, the clapping starts dying down. And as I'm standing there, it's like hitting me that I was like, I don't think they know who we are. That guy told me they did, and they don't. They don't know that's my dad. They don't know I'm a comedian. This looks like the stupidest trick they've ever seen. It doesn't make sense. Like, they're like, a pretty girl goes in, then just a whatever dude pops out. That's your trick? Your trick is backwards, sir. It's backwards. And now I gotta do comedy, but they don't know I'm a comedian, so I get a microphone. They're like, he's gonna talk to us now? How long is this trick? And when you do comedy in front of people not expecting comedy, it does not come off as comedy. It sounds like a mean speech. They were just like, get back in the box. Where's the girl? Is she fine? Can we hear from her? It always, like, it shot down my dream because I wanted to play college basketball, and that didn't work out. It didn't work out because I got cut every year from my high school basketball team, so I had to play for my church because, yeah, the church can let you. They have to let you play, which is nice. That's a good, you know. I guess they could cut you. You'd be pretty bad if they're like, look, we think you're good, but Jesus does not think you're that good. Yeah, he is our captain, so. And church ball was a lot different too, because we played, it was a half court, no three-point line. We played on carpet. That's your first sign. It's not gonna count. And they gave us a basketball. We didn't have a ball. Like, we would just stand out there and play on honesty. So you'd be like, I just made it. It was like, oh, that's a good shot. You're really good. I stole it. I forgive you doing it. It was moral points. It counts.